The power just went out. Not just your house, but everywhere. The streets are silent, your phone is dying, the fridge is warming up, and that uneasy feeling creeps in. How long before everything you depend on starts to fail? Here's the truth. It's not if this happens, it's when. And the scary part? Most people aren't even close to being ready. We've seen this before. Texas in 2021, rolling blackouts across California, storms that knocked out entire regions for weeks, hospitals freezing, grocery shelves stripped bare, families burning furniture just to stay warm. And every single time there's the same pattern. The first 24 to 72 hours are pure panic. People rush to stores, fight over bottled water, and burn through batteries like candy because they never planned ahead. But you're here, watching this, which means you're already thinking differently. So in this video, I'm going to show you exactly what to do right now to buy yourself precious time when the grid goes dark. Because those first hours and days, they decide whether you're scrambling like everyone else or calmly riding out the storm. What fails first? Infrastructure breakdown. The moment the power grid goes down, people always think about the lights first. But the truth is, lights are just the beginning. Within minutes, you start to realize how deeply electricity is tied to every part of daily life. The fridge hums to a stop, the fans go silent, and suddenly the house feels like it's holding its breath. But beyond the household annoyances, the bigger problem is what happens to the infrastructure around you. Water is one of the first silent casualties. Municipal water systems rely on pumps powered by electricity. Once those pumps stop, pressure in the lines drops. At first, you might still get a trickle from the tap, but within hours, the pipes run dry. And it doesn't stop there. Sewage treatment also grinds to a halt. Toilets won't flush properly, wastewater backs up, and suddenly what you take for granted becomes a major health hazard. Then comes refrigeration. Every perishable item in your fridge or freezer begins a countdown the moment that compressor shuts off. Within 4 hours, your fridge is no longer safe. Within a day, your freezer starts to soften. All that food you thought would last you a week? Gone, unless you know how to stretch it. And if the blackout drags on for days, grocery store coolers fail too. Shelves empty fast, and panic buying kicks in. Heating and cooling are another brutal reality. In the dead of winter, a home without power loses warmth frighteningly fast. Pipes freeze, families huddle under blankets, and hypothermia becomes a real threat. In summer, the opposite problem hits. Without air conditioning, homes turn into ovens. Dehydration, heat exhaustion, and medical emergencies start spiking. And then, think bigger. Traffic lights shut off, leading to gridlock and accidents. Gas pumps won't work because they need electricity to run. Hospitals may last on backup generators for a while, but fuel doesn't last forever. Communication networks weaken, towers go dark, and suddenly even calling for help isn't guaranteed. This is the cascading effect of a blackout. It's not just an inconvenience, it's a chain reaction. One system fails, then the next, until life as you know it feels like it's slipping through your fingers. And the scary part? This breakdown doesn't take weeks. It happens shockingly fast. Within the first 24 to 48 hours, you can go from mildly uncomfortable to dangerously exposed. That's why the first step to survival isn't waiting. It's understanding just how fragile the systems we rely on really are. Because once the grid goes down, you don't have time to be surprised. You only have time to act. Immediate actions in first hour. The first hour of a blackout is the most important one you'll ever have. Most people waste it pacing around, refreshing their phone, or waiting for the lights to flicker back on. Don't be that person. The first 60 minutes are your golden window to secure what matters most, because after that, things start slipping out of your control. Start with power. Go to your breaker box and flip off non-essential circuits. Why? Because when the grid finally comes back online, power surges can fry sensitive electronics. By cutting off what you don't need, you're protecting your gear. Then take stock of your batteries. Phones, flashlights, radios, plug them into any remaining backup power or car chargers immediately. Your goal isn't to use power, it's to preserve it. Next, water. Fill up every container you can find. Buckets, bottles, pitchers, even the bathtub. Remember, pumps can fail at any moment, and when they do, your tap becomes useless. Having water on hand gives you breathing room before things get desperate. Now, fuel. If you have a generator, propane, or even just extra gas cans, check them right away. Make sure you know what you've got and keep them accessible. If you wait too long, gas stations might already be shut down or swarmed with people. Then there's food. Go straight to your fridge and freezer. Don't open them unless you're moving things around. Put the most perishable items in the coldest spot. If you've got ice packs or frozen blocks, move them in now. A closed freezer can hold out for about 24 hours if you're smart about it. Think of it like a bank account. You're protecting the cold until you absolutely have to spend it. And don't forget comfort and safety. Gather your light sources, flashlights, lanterns, candles, if that's all you've got. Set them in one central place where your family can find them in the dark. Pull out blankets or extra layers if it's cold, or make sure you've got ways to stay cool if it's hot. The first hour isn't about panicking, it's about buying time. Every step you take now stretches your resources further. Secure your power, secure your water, lock down your food, and set up your light and warmth. Do that, and you've just bought yourself a crucial edge over everyone else waiting helplessly in the dark. Because once that first hour is gone, you can't get it back. 24-hour strategy, surviving the first night. The first night without power is where reality really sets in. Daylight is gone, the hum of modern life has faded, and suddenly your home feels unfamiliar, even hostile. This is when people start to panic, but if you've played your first hour smart, you're already ahead. Now your job is to stretch resources and make it through those critical first 24 hours. Start with shelter. Your home is still your strongest defense against the elements, but without electricity, it loses its climate control. That means you need to think about passive heat or cooling right away. If it's winter, close off unused rooms and gather everyone in a single space. Shut doors, hang blankets over openings, and stuff towels under gaps. Every degree of warmth matters, and the less space you need to heat with your body or blankets, the better. In summer, it's the opposite. Keep curtains drawn to block the sun, open windows only during the coolest parts of the day, and create cross breezes when possible. Next, food. This is where rationing begins. Don't treat your supplies like an all-you-can-eat buffet just because you're stressed. Start with what will spoil first: milk, leftovers, fresh produce, and make meals around them while they're still safe. Save shelf-stable foods like canned goods, pasta, and rice for later when your fridge and freezer are completely done. Think of it like playing chess. Every move you make now sets you up for the days ahead. Water is just as critical. Hopefully you filled containers during the first hour, but now it's about managing them. Don't let anyone mindlessly drain bottles or pour glasses and forget them. Have a set amount per person and stick to it. Dehydration sneaks up fast, and if stores are closed or pumps are down, every sip counts. Then there's light. The temptation is to turn on flashlights, lanterns, or candles all at once just to drive away the darkness. But batteries drain fast, and open flames are risky if you're tired or distracted. Instead, pick one central light source for the main room and keep movement minimal. Your eyes will adjust, and you'll save resources for when you truly need them. Above all, pace yourself. The first night is about adjusting mentally as much as it is about surviving physically. Create a routine. Eat together, check supplies, set up sleeping areas, and reassure each other. Panic makes people careless, and carelessness burns through resources faster than anything else. If you can make it calmly through the first 24 hours, warm, fed, hydrated, and with some supplies intact, you've passed the first test. The blackout may still stretch on, but now you've got a strategy instead of fear. Inventory and prioritize. By the time you've made it through the first night, it's time to shift from short-term survival to smart management. And that starts with a full inventory. This is where most people slip up. They either underestimate what they have or they panic and waste it. You can't afford either mistake. Sit down with paper, pen, and a flashlight and start counting. Food first. Go shelf by shelf, cabinet by cabinet, and write down exactly what's there. Canned goods, dry goods, perishables. Do the same with water. How many bottles, gallons, or containers did you manage to fill? Don't just guess, get the number, then move to medical supplies. Bandages, disinfectants, pain relievers, prescription medications. These are your lifelines if something goes wrong. Next comes fuel. How many gallons of gas, how much propane, how many batteries? Finally, tools and gear, flashlights, knives, fire starters, blankets, radios. Now comes the harder part, prioritizing. Not everything in your stash is equal. Ask yourself, what keeps us alive and what just keeps us comfortable? First aid, water, and warmth are non-negotiable. They get top priority no matter what. Food comes next with a focus on calorie density and shelf stability. A can of beans is more valuable than a box of cookies, no matter how much you'd rather have the sugar rush. Then, heat and light. You don't need to light your whole house, just the spaces you actually use. Same with fuel. Don't burn through it for convenience. Save it for when the situation demands it. Comfort items like entertainment, snacks, or extra luxuries get pushed down the list. They're nice, but they don't buy you survival. Here's where discipline comes in. It's easy to think, oh, we've got enough, let's just eat what we want. But in a blackout, every item you use now is one less thing you'll have later. That granola bar might not seem like much, but if the outage lasts longer than you expect, you'll regret burning through supplies without a plan. Prioritization also keeps your head clear. When stress builds and panic rises, you won't waste energy making decisions. You'll already know what comes first. Water over comfort. First aid over luxury. Calories over cravings. That order might sound harsh, but survival is about discipline, not indulgence. Heating, lighting, and safety. When the grid goes down, warmth and light suddenly become luxury items. And yet, these are the two things that make or break your ability to ride out a blackout safely. Let's start with heat. If the blackout hits during winter, the cold can move in shockingly fast, especially in older houses without insulation. Wood stoves and fireplaces are fantastic, but only if you already have seasoned firewood stacked and ready. Kerosene heaters can work too, but here's the golden rule. Ventilation is everything. These heaters can pump out carbon monoxide before you realize it, and that invisible gas is deadly. Crack a window, keep airflow moving, and never run a combustion heater in a closed room. For most people, layering up is the safest and most practical approach. Multiple layers of clothing, sleeping bags, and even tents pitched indoors to trap body heat. These tricks buy you warmth without risk. You're not trying to heat the entire house. You're trying to heat the humans inside it. Now let's talk light. The first instinct when darkness falls is to grab every candle in the house and light them all. But here's the problem. Candles tip, wax drips, and open flames plus exhaustion equal fire hazards. Use them sparingly and never leave them unattended. Safer options? Solar lanterns are a prepper favorite. You charge them during the day and get hours of light at night. Battery-powered LED lamps also stretch power far better than old incandescent bulbs. And if you're caught off guard, even a simple trick like filling a clear jug of water and shining a flashlight into it creates a glowing lantern effect that spreads light across a room. But none of this matters if you ignore safety. Darkness makes people clumsy, and clumsiness leads to accidents. Keep pathways clear, no clutter where people might trip. If you've got kids, establish rules. No running, no candles near fabric, and no playing with flashlights unless supervised. And we can't forget carbon monoxide. If you're running any kind of fuel-based heater, lantern, or stove, invest in a battery-powered CO detector. That tiny device can save your life because by the time you feel the symptoms, headache, dizziness, nausea, it may already be too late. Bottom line, light and heat aren't just about making life cozy, they're about maintaining morale and safety. A warm, well-lit room calms nerves, keeps people thinking clearly, and turns a crisis into something manageable. But every flame, every heater, every battery must be used with discipline, communication, and information. Now let's shift to something most people don't even think about until it's too late. Communication. When the power dies, so does your phone charger, your Wi-Fi, and eventually your cell signal. Suddenly, you're cut off from the outside world. And in a crisis, being cut off can be more dangerous than the darkness itself. Step 1. Radios. Old school, yes. Outdated? Not even close. A battery-powered AM/FM radio can keep you tuned into local emergency broadcasts when everything else is down. Even better? A hand crank radio. You spin the crank for a couple of minutes and you've got enough juice to power news updates and even charge a small device. This is why serious preppers always have one. It doesn't matter how long the outage lasts, you'll still have a line to the outside world. But information isn't just about hearing what's going on, it's about having what you need before the blackout even starts. That means pre-downloading offline maps to your phone, saving medical guides or first aid apps that don't require data, and even printing hard copies of key contacts and instructions. Because if your phone is dead and your brain is foggy from stress, You don't want to rely on memory alone. Next is planning your own communication system. Power outages create chaos, and people scatter trying to find loved ones. Don't wait for that panic moment. Establish check-in times with family or trusted friends. Maybe it's once in the morning, once at night. Everyone knows when to expect a call or text if signals are working, and if not, they know you're still following the plan. That routine provides stability in chaos. And don't overlook low-tech communication. Whistles, walkie-talkies, even handwritten notes in sealed Ziploc bags can become lifelines if you're in a neighborhood-wide blackout and need to coordinate. Think about it. If cell towers are down, shouting across streets won't cut it. But a pair of walkie-talkies? That's gold. Information and communication boil down to this. The more connected you are, the less you panic. Panic comes from uncertainty, from not knowing what's happening or what comes next. If you have a way to gather news, a plan to check in with people you trust, and offline resources at your fingertips, you're good. Preventing panic and keeping morale up. Here's something people don't talk about enough when the grid goes down. Survival isn't just about food, water, or firewood. It's about what's happening inside your head. Panic spreads faster than darkness, and once it grabs hold, it can ruin even the best prepped situation. The first rule of keeping morale high is creating a sense of normalcy. Even when the world outside is silent and cold, inside your space, you need rhythm and routine. Wake up at a set time, assign small tasks to every family member, and keep some kind of schedule. Maybe it's water rationing in the morning, checking gear in the afternoon, or playing cards in the evening. Why? Because routines give structure, and structure keeps fear from spiraling. Now let's talk about activities. In the dark, the hours crawl, and boredom can feel heavier than hunger. Keep board games, books, puzzles, or even a deck of cards in your emergency stash. For kids, having something to do keeps them calm. For adults, it keeps minds from fixating on the worst-case scenarios. You're not just killing time, you're keeping brains busy so panic doesn't take root. Warmth also plays into morale. When you're freezing, it's easy to slide into hopelessness. But one small win, like warming a cup of soup or huddling together under blankets, can flip the mood completely. That's why little victories matter. Lighting a single lantern in a dark room feels huge. Cooking a meal, even if it's just rice and beans, feels like progress. Each of those small wins tells the brain, we're okay, we've got this. And here's a big one. Avoid feeding the fear. Don't sit around listing everything that could go wrong. Don't repeat rumors about how long the blackout might last. Information is important, but doom scrolling, gossip, or fear-mongering only breeds anxiety. Instead, focus on facts, on what you can do, not on what you can't control. Staying connected is another morale booster. If you can communicate with neighbors or loved ones safely, do it. Sometimes just hearing another voice say, "We're hanging in too," makes a blackout feel survivable instead of apocalyptic. At the end of the day, morale is about mindset. A family that laughs together by candlelight will always outlast a family that argues in the dark. Long-term planning. Okay, let's zoom out. It's one thing to survive a night without power, it's another to survive weeks. Long-term planning is where real survival separates from short-term scrambling. Step 1. Stretch your supplies. That means rationing food and water intelligently, not emotionally. Don't binge the good snacks on night 1. Instead, rotate through your stockpile. Eat what's most perishable first, like fridge items or produce, and save the long-lasting staples like rice, beans, and canned goods for later. With water, establish clear limits. Don't pour cups randomly. Measure what's safe per person per day. Step 2. Redundancy. Having one backup isn't enough. You need layers. If your candles run out, do you have solar lights? If your propane is gone, do you have a small wood stove? If your main water jugs run dry, do you have a rain barrel or filtration tablets? Building redundancy means you're never betting survival on a single system. One thing fails, the next layer catches you. Now let's talk about renewables. Long blackouts are where solar truly shines, literally. A small foldable solar panel can charge a phone, radio, or power bank, and suddenly you're not living hour by hour, you're generating a little power daily. Even something simple like solar garden lights, the kind you stick in the yard, can be brought inside at night for free lighting. Passive heating is another long-term play, using blankets to cover windows, trapping heat in a single insulated room, or even using thermal mass like hot water bottles or heated stones. These aren't gimmicks, they're systems you can repeat night after night. Long-term survival also requires planning beyond your walls. How do you handle trash without weekly pickups? Where does sewage go if water pumps stay off? These are problems people don't think about until they're staring at them. Long-term planning means identifying weak spots now while you can still fix them. Here's the truth. Most people can handle a day without power. Some can stretch to 3, but after a week, supplies thin, nerves fray, and reality bites hard. Long-term survival isn't glamorous. It's methodical, patient, and built on redundancy. And if you're prepared for weeks, then when the grid flicks back on, you're not the one crawling. You're the one who made it through steady, calm, and ready for whatever comes next. Common mistakes that destroy prep. Let's be honest, when people start prepping for a blackout, most of them don't think like survivors. They think like shoppers. They load up their carts, they stack their pantries, they buy all the cool gear, but they forget the real test. Can you actually use it when the lights go out? The number one trap? Stockpiling food with no way to prepare it. Pasta, rice, beans, sure, they look impressive sitting in your basement, but if the gas is off, the stove is dead, and you've got zero backup fuel, those shelves might as well be filled with bricks. Food that can't be cooked isn't survival, it's a museum display. If you don't have a way to boil water, to heat a pot, or even to make a cup of tea, then all that prep won't carry you through the first cold night. The second mistake is gear worship. People love buying shiny survival toys, but they never actually test them. That solar charger you left sealed in the box? Spoiler alert, it doesn't charge in your imagination. That tactical filter you never practiced with? You'll find out too late that it clogs, leaks, or requires way more effort than you thought. Gear isn't magic. If you don't train with it now, it won't suddenly save you when you're freezing, hungry, and panicked. And here's a blind spot that gets almost everyone: temperature. People equate survival with calories and water, but if you're shivering in an unheated house, food isn't the problem. Hypothermia is. The same goes for sweltering summers when a blackout drags on. Without airflow or shade, your body overheats fast. The difference between life and death might not be the cans in your cupboard, but whether you thought about blankets, fans, or safe backup heat sources, then comes sanitation. It's the silent killer of blackouts. Toilets that stop flushing, garbage that piles up, hands that go unwashed. It doesn't sound dramatic, but it will take you out faster than hunger. Infections, diarrhea, disease, they spread in the dark when no one's thinking about hygiene. And if you've got kids or elderly family, that risk doubles. Last but not least, safety. Nobody likes to picture it, but blackouts can bring out the worst in people. Desperate neighbors, strangers prowling for supplies, even opportunistic looters. If you don't have a plan for locks, deterrence, or just basic awareness, then your well-stocked home might look like an open invitation. Here's the hard truth. Prepping isn't about hoarding. It's about balance. Food only matters if you can cook it. Gear only works if you know it. Supplies only keep you alive if sanitation and safety are covered. Miss one piece, and your whole survival plan falls apart. So here's the bottom line. If you're not ready now, you might never be. Let me leave you with one challenge. What's the one thing you need tonight to get through a blackout? Drop it in the comments. I might feature the best ones in the next video. And hey, hit that like button, subscribe, and share this video.